Hey everyone, welcome back. Hopefully I transitioned pretty well. So here is Gigantrite. We're gonna land, try to show you some of the new stuff. Ooh, computer's lagging a little bit, apologize for that. So she still has the auras that you can mine. So sometimes when you mine the ores, you can get the Vita stones. There's two of these portally looking things on her, and these are where you collect your little orbs sometimes, and then the Vita stones. I already collected my two, so this is the next one up right now, so I'm not sure if 2 is a daily limit, so we're gonna find out. And sorry if my stuff is choppy. I am on Starlink. Alright, let's check some out. Oh no, there might be a limit on what you can get from the whale itself, orb-wise. But we are getting the Vita Stones, and you can see those quickly by just going to your materials tab. So you can see the crystal there. And where is the Vita Stone? Okay, there's the Vital Stones. Okay, so it's in the miscellaneous tab for your Vital Stones. Interesting. Okay. Click on this again, see if we get another crystal or not. Okay, so we did. So it seems it's a chance, unfortunately. And now there are the floating islands. See, look right there. That you can get to from her. I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to get to them yet. I have not done that. Looks like everyone's jumping up on top, so that might be the play. Oh, looks like Pookie might have fallen off. No, I am not very good at jumping. Come on. We'll speed through this. Halloween event still going on, so you can see all that cool stuff. We're up here, so there was obviously islands back there that we saw. It was like a stack of them. We'll just kind of cut the video, so sorry for lots of transitions during this part of the video. So it looks like you can either jump from her fin there. So as you can see, there are resources on the islands, and they do give heightened rewards, like we previously discussed. Oh, look, there's chain hooks. Interesting. Okay. So there is, and then there's a geyser to help you get you back on the whale. I'm not sure if maybe, oh god, okay, hold on, we're gonna land back down real quick. The whale bank back around. It's learning curve, guys. Hopefully she banks back up. I don't think I can make it that far. I will put on my stamina food just so I have more to work with, but we'll wait. I think she goes around in a circle a few times. So just a reminder is the Starlight Observatory to jump on easily from that point. Someone's stuck. I don't, she doesn't look like she's gonna turn. So I'm just gonna hit this. Not really sure where else you're supposed to mount on her, but that's fine. I was mostly just demonstrating for you guys anyways. I'm not in too big of a rush for this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and land actually and show you why. All right, but so there's the whale. That's basically what you got to do. If you know how to get back on the whale easier, I have not done research on that kind of stuff. So feel free to leave a comment down below if that is something that you know how to do. I know there are more points around the map that you can jump on her, but not off the top of my head. Just like I said, I didn't do research into that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to town so I can show you why I'm not really too pressed to get all this stuff collected. Now, first, let's get over to the crafting area. Like I said, the Halloween event is still going on, so if you're kind of behind, check out my last update video. I kind of went over all the housing stuff with the event. Let me pull up the patch notes if you haven't read them. Okay. So patch notes. So for life skills, let me increase the zoom for you guys. So both of the whales have furniture styled stuff that was added. So it's a little anticlimactic for me because it's only 2 of each. So you get 1 lamp for Min and 1 bed, and 1 lamp for Gig and a bed. So 4 items are all they added to furniture recently with this update. So as you can see, they require those crystals alongside with the vital stones and the additives. Obviously, 2 of these are what we get from the whales, and there's the floating islands. The floating islands do have portals for the crystals and vital stones. However, the difference between the islands and the whale. So the whales seem to be quote unquote instanced, so everyone can use those portals. When you go to the islands, however, the islands are not quote unquote instanced. So you are fighting for the resources on those islands against all the other people. So those portals can only be used by 1 person. You can only gather the trees, the ore, the dirt piles only by 1 person. So you are fighting. So if there's a bunch of people on one of those islands, it's probably wise to just jump to a different one to try to snag something and secure them. As we kind of mentioned earlier, the yield for rare items on these islands is greater. So there is a benefit to doing them. Because if anyone else knows, trying to get rare items normally is a pain in the butt. So like we jumped ahead, I guess. But so yeah, the islands have ways to acquire the crystals and vital stones. Some of them can proc to be tradable, just like other items. The epic tier is what the new lamps and new beds are, and they do grant significantly higher power, housing power. We'll go check that out here in a second. Again, with the great success, you can sell it. So if you are gathering common tier items, you get more. However, they did add where you can break stuff down right here, dissolving to a 1-to-1. So realistically, if you're at the point where you're gathering for blues, you don't need to gather grays anymore, because you can just, with how much greens you get from trying to gather blues, you can just break the greens down, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. They did nerf leather. I'm really not sure why, but okay. And then they increased the quality that you could potentially get and roughly doubled. We do have a new Q slot for crafting, which is nice. I kind of wish they just gave us both of them, because by now most of us are maxed out. You can now purchase tickets. They added some tags and some just general life stuff. But like I said, they kind of made it seem like they were adding more with this, so it was a little bit of a letdown after like actually seeing it in game. So back to in game. So the tickets they were talking about, you go to the furniture merchant, they are right here. They made it into a chest, so I'll just buy it for you so you can see how that works. So you buy the ticket, you go to your inventory, you open it like a chest. Boom, you got your 5 tickets now. Just like that, super simple. So he's got those, nothing else is new. Don't forget your weekly contracts and your weekly scrolls if you can afford it. But yeah, everything else is the same with him. So when you come over to the crafting station, obviously you can see your new crafting slot, so that helps so you can have a little bit more time to either go out and gather or AFK, do whatever, you know, you're doing. The red dots are going to bug me, so sorry. I'm going to do this real quick. Okay, so like I said, I went through and I double checked. I didn't see anything new outside of obviously what they said, the lamps and the beds. So here are the beds. Epic level. They are very cool looking. My biggest complaint is, like, yes, they're very cool looking, but they don't go with anything outside the lamps. Like, the new set is just, I don't know. It just clashes with everything else. So it's like, cool, I'd make these, but I don't know that I necessarily would put them visibly in my house. And then as we can see here, the furniture value of these epics is massive. 4,000 over most blues. That is crazy. But there is a reason for this, a very good reason. Look at the amount of resources that you need to craft one of these, and they all have the same requirements. So here's the bed, and the lamps are in the decorative section at the bottom, obviously because they're epic. Obviously one for each, again, one themed for each whale, which is cool. Same housing value, which is great. But again, same resources. So as we've seen how many of these items we can get, and they're just a chance, it's just devastating in my opinion, because so you need 400 of these crystals to make each item, all, like if you're making one of each for your house, and then it's 400 of these stones each, so 400 divine beast crystals and 1600 vital stones to craft all 4 of these items. Again, you do have the chance for great success, and you can get the crystals for the potential to sell them. So they are on the market from what I've been told. Probably under other crystal. I can't type. All crystal? There we go. Okay. Yeah, so they are going for a pretty penny right now if you are able to get them. So, I mean, you can turn a profit if you want to just farm for that instead of trying to craft the items. But again, like I said, I mean, the housing rating is crazy. 4,000 more over most blues. So if you were like struggling with rating still to get your last slot, or you're trying to get the final achievement or whatever, you could grind this out to help boost you to that final little section. But I'm just devastated by how much we need to get these, because realistically, it's gonna be crazy farming this. You're gonna have to grind this for so long, because the whales run what, every 3 hours basically. So you're getting about 9 whales a day. So you have to hit like every one to get like 16 crystals potentially. But like we just saw, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a crystal. So yeah, pretty crazy. It's cool that they added stuff, and I love that they are still taking care of the housing side of things. I'm just a little underwhelmed and disappointed with the amount of grindiness that they have made this. It kind of feels like they're throwing us a bone kind of situation, but I am hopeful that they continue to add things especially with the epic stuff, just to kind of see things progress more. Outside that, so let's show you how I can, my brain's not working, sorry, to dissolve things. So typically if you click on something and hit dissolve, obviously it wants to naturally dissolve the whole stack, and you can't split these into your inventory to make it easier. But if you pay attention right here, shift click to determine what amount you want to dissolve here. So we're going to shift click up here. We're going to pick the amount that we want to dissolve, confirm, and then you have to confirm again to actually proceed with the dissolving. Boom, bada, bing. Now you got all this. So it makes your life a lot easier with the gray aspect of stuff. And again, having that extra slot is helpful. But that's basically everything right now. I believe they said they added a few more nodes on the map. So like I mentioned in previous videos, like you have to zoom in and just kind of look around. I have not looked into that because I have my favorite farming spots. So if you find anything else that I may have missed or whatnot, feel free to leave a comment. If you have more information or tips on how to handle the whole whale and island bit, go ahead and leave that down below as well. I would love to hear how you guys are handling it. I did encounter this frustrating issue, as everyone else has probably encountered. The flying bug I had earlier jumped from the whale to go fly to an island, and it bugged out and I just fell to the freaking floor. So there are going to be a lot of frustrations dealing with that kind of situation, but I hope maybe they address that because it'll be more of a issue while we're trying to farm this stuff. But yeah, that's it. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys had some wonderful holidays, and I will see you later.